Wait, hold on, huh? Let me share to you my screen. Okay. Okay. So I believe you can see now my screen. So let's start with our discussion. Now let's have a review of the things we learned last time. Okay. Last time we talked about future, active, middle, passive, indicative uh, tense. Also, we had a discussion about the aorists. So we will review them this morning. So here, so the tense identifier, again, the tense identifier of present, future active middle is the sigma. Then for the future passive voice, it's taste. For the aorist, first person aorist, active and middle, the tense identifier is sa. Then for the tense identifier of aorist passive is te. Okay? So we have sa se, samen sa tisan, samen so sa to, sameta sa station 2. Then ting, te, stay, tamen, te, tisan. Then we have for the future, luso, loses, losei, losomen, losete, losusen. Then we have losomai, losei, lositay, losomita, losiste, losontay. Then we have lotesong, somai, lotesay, lotesitay, lotesomita, lotesiste, lotesontay. Okay. By the way, may I remind everyone, please come on time. No, join on time because um, every time I discuss here, then someone wants to join and I get distracted. No, so please, when I send I usually I send the link 5 minutes before the time. No, so please join on time, or else maybe next time I will not allow you to join the class anymore if you are late. Okay, so where am I now? So we have there the future, no? So we have also the rules in future. Let me give you examples. So of this one, we have here, no? So we have here an example of future. Okay, we have axe. Okay, axe is from the word ago. The present form is ago. You parse this one. What is the tense of axe? It's future. The voice is what? Active. The mood, indicative. Person, third person. Number, singular. Lexical form is ago. This word is from ago. The present form is ago, meaning I live. Now, why do you have here see? Okay, remember that the verb stem of ago is ag. It ends with gamma, and if you add sigma, according to the rule here, here we have uh, uh, kappa, gamma, ki before sigma, it becomes c. That's why we have here c. Okay, so ago, it's axe, no? She, it will lead. Okay, then we have elucitai. It's a deponent verb. So this is the form of the future. Gineseste. Okay, it's a future also. You have here sigma, no? Sigma, we have sigma. We have also a combination of gamma and sigma. Then we have sigma here. Then we have this one, limseste. So we have C, no? C instead of sigma. Why? Again, the rule here, for example, this one. So a labial P, beta, and phi before sigma, it becomes C. So that's why this word, no, this word lambano, it's from the word lambano. The future tense or the future form active is limseste. Middle, no, middle. This is middle. Okay. Now we have examples here. Okay. So this one, kindly read and parse the verb axe, and yeah, there's only one verb here, axe. So who wants to answer number one? Read and translate, or first parse the verb and translate. Who wants to answer?
Pastor, sir, ako.
Yes. Okay, okay. We have yes, Jomar. Try Jomar.
Sir, di pa ako kabalo, sir.
Di pa. Kisa dito, mag-nagko gani?
Sir, Edson.
Edson. Yes, Edson.
Aksi, sir.
Yeah.
I lead, sir. I lead.
Okay, parse.
Ito,
Parse
sir,
is the tense. Give me the tense first.
tense,
Yeah.
perfect. Ay, imperfect, sir.
Imperfect? Why do you say it's imperfect? Do we have
Because,
augment? Does it have an augment?
ay, wala na, sir.
So if it
Perfect.
doesn't have an augment,
Oh. Wala.
so we have C here. Now, what does it tell you?
Sir,
C
future.
is a what? When a
Future.
guttural letter is followed by sigma, then you have C. So, in other words, this is future. The tense is
Future.
future. The tense is future. The voice is active. The mood is indicative because we're still in indicative mood. Then we have the person is third person. Remember the ending. The A is third person singular, and the lexical form or the lexical entry is ago. So it meaning I go. So if ago is I go, oh yes, I mean sorry, I lead rather. If ago is I lead, therefore what would be the future in third person singular? He, she, it will lead.
We lead.
Okay. However, remember the the verb has an implied subject. However, we have an explicit subject, ho Christos. Then we do not need to use the pronoun subject of the verb. Okay, third person is he, she, it. However, we have an explicit subject here, so you do not need to write the he anymore. So we have, what is Christ? Translation of Christ. What is the meaning? I'm sorry.
Christ ka ng Kristo, Pastor.
Christ. Okay.
Christ.
What is tos matitas? What is tos matitas? This one. Parse.
Disciple, sir.
Okay, parse matitas. Give me the case, or first, what part of speech? What part of speech is matitas?
Noun.
Okay, noun.
Noun.
Then the case. What is the case?
Indicative, sir.
The case, it's a noun. Indicative, it's only for verb. What is the case? Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative.
Nominative, sir.
Why do you say it's nominative?
Sir, accusative.
Why accusative?
Not because of those.
Okay, because of the tos, no? The tos is the ending. This is the article, the definite article for accusative. Very good. What about auto? What is auto?
Auto.
What is the what do you call this? Part of speech. What part of speech?
Adjective, sir.
Huh?
Adjective.
Demonstrative, sir.
Demonstrative?
Noun. Pronoun.
No, it is what? It's a pronoun. Yes, it's a pronoun, but what pronoun?
Pronoun.
Because a lot of pronoun, indefinite, demonstrative, relative.
Predicative, sir.
Huh?
Predicative.
No, we don't have predicative pronoun. What we have, it's personal, reflexive, interrogative, demonstrative. Those are examples of pronoun. Yeah, or categories or
Personal.
types of pronoun. We have
Demonstrative
personal
pronoun.
pronoun. This is a
Okay.
personal pronoun. And what case? What is the
Genitive.
case? Genitive, very good. So what would be the translation of this pronoun here? Auto is?
He or she? He.
If it's in the nominative, it's he, she, it. But if it's in genitive, the literal translation is of him, or his. Okay, auto is his or of him. Okay, then we have hodon, tes, agapes. What is hodon? Vocabulary. Way. Agapes. What is agapes?
Love.
Love. Okay, now translate. What is, if we translate this one, the whole sentence, we have Christ will lead. Remember, this is what? Future will lead the disciples, because this is plural. Or Christ will lead his disciples, because we have here a, a possessive personal pronoun because of it is genitive. So Christ will lead his disciples is into the way of love. So this is the translation. Okay? The translation is Christ will lead his disciples into the way of love. Okay? Now, another example here. We have here Eleusitai. What is Eleusitai? Parse Eleusitai. Parse Eleusitai. What is the tense? Future, no? The future, Eleusitai is future. Then, what is the voice?
Morning, sir.
Huh?
Middle. Middle passive. Middle or passive voice.
Okay.
Morning.
The form is in a middle or yeah, in the middle
Passive.
form. Okay. The middle voice, but the meaning is active. Okay. The meaning of this is active. So, okay, we can say it's a actually this is active, no? The parsing of this is active because the meaning is active, although the form is in the middle. We have, remember, we have deponent verbs. Do you still remember our discussion last time, or in a before? I think it's a second week. Second week of our discussion. that we have deponent verbs. Deponent verbs, they have the form of passive or passive voice, yet the meaning is active. So since the meaning is active, so we have to translate this as active. Okay, or the tense is active. Then who kurios, son tois angelois auto. Okay, illusitai is uh, what is the person, third person singular. And what is the lexical form or the lexical entry of this word? It's from the word erkomai. Erkomai is I go or I come. So if we translate this one, ekene is demonstrative pronoun. Okay, demonstrative pronoun. What kind of demonstrative? Near demonstrative or far demonstrative?
Far.
Far demonstrative. Okay, so our translation is what? What is now our translation? What is n?
In.
N on. Okay, n on or among. Okay, so we can say on. Okay, on or in. What is ekene?
That.
That. On that. What is hey himera? Say himera.
Day.
Day. So on that day. Okay, on that day. Then we have the verb. We have the subject ho kurios. So we have on that day the Lord what?
Comet. Comet.
Will
The Lord comet.
come. No? Okay. The Lord will come. What is soon?
And
Together.
angels.
Then tois angelos auto. How do you translate this one?
Angels of the Lord.
Okay. Now angels. These angels only because the Lord here. We have this is the subject. Remember, this is nominative. So we don't have. If we make kurios as part of this phrase, tos angelos auto, then supposed to be kurios should be in genitive. If you say the angel of the Lord, okay, the angel of the Lord. So it should be kurios should be in genitive, but we have nominative. So therefore, kurios is our subject here. Okay, and it is not a qualifier of angelois. Why? Because this is nominative. Okay, because if you say the angel of the Lord, then the Lord there becomes, it should be in genitive case. However, in our example here, it is not in a genitive case but nominative. So that's why nominative usually becomes what? The subject or functioning as the subject. So our translation, it's on that day the Lord will come together with his or together his angels. Okay? Together his angels because this is plural. Okay? Now, let's move. Okay? So please memorize the vocabs we have there at the beginning of lesson 10 we have here. Okay? So the future active. Okay? Future active. Now, what else? Okay, for the middle and the passive, you have there the middle and the passive. For the middle, it's still sigma for the future middle voice. We have sigma as tense identifier. Losomai, lose, losetai, losometa, loseste, losontai. I will lose myself. You will lose yourself. He, she, it will lose himself, herself, itself. We will lose ourselves, and you will lose yourselves, and they will lose themselves. For the passive, we have here, it's taste. So we have here the tense identifier is taste. Lote somai. So that's why here lote somai, lote say, lote setai, lote somita, lote seste, lote somtai. I will be loosed. You will be loosed. He, she, it will be loosed. We will be loosed. You will be loosed. They will be loosed. Okay? So those are the forms in future tense. Okay. Now for the aorist. Okay, we have here since we learned last time that aorist uh it's a secondary tense. Now secondary tense, it means that uh, the action happens in the past. So there are two tenses related to the past. We have the imperfect and the aorist. And so what is the indication that this verb or a particular verb is in the past? Because of the augment. Okay, the augment will tell you that that verb is that verb relates to the past. It's either what imperfect or aorist. The first aorist has the pattern the tense identifier for first aorist is sa. Sa, se, samen, sati, san. That's for what? That's for the active. Okay? Sa, se, samen, sati, san. Then we have augment. Then we have for the middle voice is still sa. Samin, so, sato, samita, saste, san. 2 plus the augment. For the passive aorist, first aorist we have stay. Okay, the tense identifier is stay plus the augment. So augment verb stem plus the tense identifier, then the ending. Okay, so please memorize. Okay, that's the only way for you to survive Greek. Okay, memorize the endings and the vocabulary if you want to pass the subject. Okay, so that's the only way. God will not show you the answers. No? God will not do a miracle for you if you do not study. Okay? So also, we have the same principle applies to aorists, no? In the rules in the future, no? The future for the sigma, the appearance of sigma. So we have if the guttural is followed by the sigma, it becomes C. If the labial consonants followed by sigma, it becomes C. Dental consonants drops out if followed by sigma. Now we have examples here. So here, for
Excuse me, sir.
the okay for
Excuse me, sir.
the yes
Na magpa-accept,
question.
sir, si Rowell Joy, sir. Wa daw kasulod,
Ah,
magpa-accept daw siya, si Rowell Joy.
okay, sorry. Okay, so we have here. Okay, no. So we have so examples here. Examples of this one is the future passive, no? Future passive. So we have, for example, egartasontai. No, we have taste. Okay. So we have taste. And we have the ending. And we have here the verb stem. Okay, this is not aorist. Okay, this is future. From the word egero, the lexical form is egero. So the future passive form of egero is egertasontai. Okay, this is a third person plural. Okay, so our translation, what should be our translation here? Egero, what is egero? What is egero? I carry. No? I carry. Egero is I carry. So since this is uh, passive, okay, then what would be the translation? Third person, they will be carried. Okay, they will be carried. The translation of this is they will be carried. What about this one? Kiroktisaitai. Okay, kiroktisaitai. What is kiroso? This is from the word kiroso. It means I preach, I proclaim. Okay, so kiroktisaitai If you parse this one, what is the tense? The tense is future passive. Then what?
Plural.
Okay, we have third
Morning,
person,
sir.
Plural.
singular, not plural, singular. Itay. Look at the endings. Omay, a, itay. Okay? Singular. And the lexical form is kiroso, meaning, if you translate now, kiroso is I preach or I proclaim. So what would be the translation of this one?
I will preach.
I preach.
Passive. This is passive. This is not active.
They will preach.
I
Ah,
I will be preach.
third person. What is
They
the
will
third
be
person?
preaching.
He will be preach.
They will be
Ah,
preaching.
singular. Look at, do not just guess. Look at
Ah.
the information. This is third person singular.
He, she, it will be preach.
Okay, he, she, it will be preached because this is third person passive. Okay, so please, you have to take note of that. Okay, now for the aorist example of aorist here, no. So we have here ilosin. So look at here. Okay, ilosin. Sa se sa mensatisan. So we have augment. Then we have the tense identifier of aorist. Then we have the ending. Okay. So if we parse this one, this is aorist, first person, first aorist, active, indicative, third person, singular. From the word luo. What would be the translation? Elosin is what? I. What is luo? Nah, murag daghan-daghan gyud mo kabalik ani Greek 1 ba next year ba? Kay may taon. Saon na lang ni.
Mag-overload na.
Sir,
Ha?
sir, ang amo lang yung
ginahan ko
Sir, ang
Overload
amo
na,
lang
sir.
timanan sir ang
overload. Okay. So we have
sir.
law is I lose. So the translation is I lose. Okay, this is I lose. And also we have here another example is this one, iblip samin. Okay, still you have the samin there, and we have the rules now for the labial, because the verb stem of this word is blipo. This word is from the lexical form is blipo. It means I see or I look at. Then the aorist. This is now the aorist form of the verb. We have the augment, the syllabic augment. Then we have the tense identifier, and we have the ending. Okay, so first aorist, then the voice is what?
Middle. Ay, no.
Okay,
Passive.
samin, active. This is active because se, samin, satisan, active. First person mood, it's indicative. First person plural from the word
Plural.
blepo. So if we translate this one, this is
See, sir. I see.
no. This one, this word in aorist form. How do you translate this word now? This is we, because plural, first person we.
We have seen.
No, we have seen it's perfect.
We saw.
We saw.
We had-
Very good. We
Oh.
saw. Because this is in the past, we
We
saw or we looked at. Okay, we looked at or we saw. Okay, we have also here a didaksa. A didaksa from the word, the lexical entry or the lexical form is didasco. Okay, didasco. So meaning I teach. So if we translate this one, it becomes I thought. Okay, so I have examples here. Okay, let's start. Now we will try to translate. Okay, so we have here Ilusen ho matitesto ployon auto. Okay, again, we already know this, the meaning of this word. The meaning is, Ilusen is, what is the meaning?
I lose.
I
I
lose.
lose.
Okay, then who matiteis to ployon auto. What is matiteis?
Disciple.
Disciple.
Disciple. What is ployon? What is ployon?
Child.
Huh? Boat. No? Ployon is boat. Auto is his. So translate. Who can give me the translation of this one? Who wants to translate this word, this sentence here? Based on this, what is our subject? Among the words here, which one is the
Mata.
subject? Huh?
Matete, sir.
Okay, very good. Matites. Why do you say it's matites is the subject? Because
Kay
Noun.
genitive out. Kanang
kanang. Because look at the case, it's in nominative. No, nominative. So,
nominative dahil dominative.
okay, nominative man siya. So, usually, nominative, okay, for now, no? For now, nominative functions as the subject. So, we have taste, homatites is the subject. So, the disciple. Then, next is what? The verb. What is the verb? Orist, loosed, okay? The disciple
Lose.
loosed his boat. Okay, the disciple loosed his boat. Okay, now another one. This one number 2. Ego pantonte. Ego pantute. Edidaksa en sunagugay kay in to hiero. We have ego is I, no? I. Pantute is always, no? It's already given here. Edidaksa. Edidaksa, if you parse this one, it's first aorist, active, indicative, first person, singular. Okay? From the word didasco, I teach.
I teach, sir.
I teach. So, then in synagogue, it's synagogue, kai en to hiero. Hiero is temple. Okay? Then if we translate, it's I always, what? I always taught.
It's
Now, this one is, we have past, so thought. Okay? I always taught, sorry. I always taught in the synagogue and in the temple. Okay. Then, another one here. Oy matitay iduk sa san. Iduk sa san. Ton tion kay ton wion auto. So again, matitay here, it's plural, disciples. Idodaksan, what is idodaksan? From the word doxa or doxaso.
glory.
I glorify. Okay, I glorify.
Glorified.
So that, okay, glorified. This is third person singular, right? Because of the ending. not singular but plural. Okay, plural. Sasase sati san, plural, because the subject here is plural, then the verb is plural. Okay, the disciples glorified, ton tion is God, and ton vion auto is and his son. Okay, the disciples glorified God and his son. Okay, so now we have the passive form. Okay, the passive form of the aorist. So we have here apikrite, we have sonectisan, egeute, epem, okay, epemtisan, isotisan, egenetisan, eperyutimen, and eduxaste. Okay, so look at here, no? We have here te-san, 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 te-men. So looking at these verbs, you can say that these verbs are in the passive form. Okay, passive form, aorist passive form. Why? Because of the tense identifier te. Okay, tense identifier. So look at, you have to remember that. Okay, so examples here we have otoi, oi, anthropoi, so nektisan, eiston to propheto oikon. So nektisan is parse sunektisan first. Parse sunektisan. Aorist, the tense is aorist, the voice is what? Teisan is passive.
Passive, sir. Pas.
Okay. Now, indicative, what is the person?
Third,
Third
plural.
person.
Plural.
Okay, very good, no?
Plural.
Third person plural.
Plural, sir.
And what is the lexical form? Lexical form. Sonectisan. From sunago. Sunago is I gather together. Okay, I gather together. That's why synagogue is related, no, derivative from the verb synago. Okay, synago is I come together or I gather together. So translate, hotoi is what? Demonstrative pronoun. Still
Is.
remember hotoi, demonstrative pronoun, and
Near demonstrative.
here demonstrative. So what is the translation?
This.
This, okay, this. Very good. This, anthropoi,
People.
Men.
men.
Yes.
Men are.
Now, this one, translate now together with this one. This men, what? Translate the verb.
This
Gathered
man
together.
together.
Okay. Remember this passive. This is passive.
Gathered.
Will gather.
Gathered together.
No, passive. It's
These
what?
men are
Will
together.
gathered.
Will gather.
How will you make it that the subject is recipient of the action? Being gathered.
This
Gathered.
men being
Being
gathered
gathered together. Okay?
together.
So, these men were being gathered. Okay? Because if you say, this men gathered, that's active. No? What? But if you, this is, since this is passive, being gathered. So they were recipient. Someone or somebody gathered them. Okay? So these men were being gathered in the what is oikon?
House.
House. Very good. House of the prophets. Okay? Of the prophets. Okay? So ton here and oikon. So ton here is the definite article of oikon. Okay? Because in Greek, word order doesn't matter. Okay? That's why you have to know the form and the case or the function of the word in the sentence. Because in Greek, it is very possible that the subject is in the middle or at the last part of the sentence. It doesn't matter. Okay? So in this case, we have here the direct object. I mean, the object of the preposition is. Okay? It's ton oikon. So it's these men were being gathered together in the house of the prophet. Okay? Okay, so I think loading pa no? Loading. Sige lang. So,
Very good, sir.
Sir,
now,
sir.
yes, do you have question?
Aside sa ano sir ba, mapars namang word, saan na mo pagkabalo nga unsay ang lexical form sir, mauni ang iyang lexical form. Asa na mo na
Sa
ano
lexicon.
mahibaluan?
Sa lexicon and the vocabulary.
Sama dito rin
The
naman.
vocabulary nga akong gihatag sa inyo. Remember, I sent you the list of vocabs, no, separate katabi tong 22 pages. So you look at there, no? You look at there. You have to memorize the vocabs and also you have to familiarize the forms. Why? Because there are verbs in different tenses or verbs which are very different from the present tense. No, the form is different. So that's why you have to memorize all the vocabs, the lexical form as much as possible, and also familiarize the what? The forms of the verb in other tenses. Okay, that's the only way for you to know. There's no other way. So that's why, in Greek and Hebrew are the two subjects in theology which are very challenging and they need time. If you want to master Greek and Hebrew, you have to give time to this. That's the only way. No? That's the only way. Ang say sekreto sir, ang sekreto ra gyud. Give time. Give time. Mao ra gyud na. Pag ito lang mabuhat na. Okay? So let's move to our discussion. So we're done with future and aorist. Now let's come to perfect. Okay? Perfect, active, and indicative. Three features distinguish the perfect tense. Okay, there are three features that distinguishes perfect from other tenses. Number one, the reduplication of the stem, the tense sign or tense identifier, and the ending. So you have to take note of this. Number one, it's the reduplication of the stem. Number two, the tense identifier. And the three, it's the ending. Okay? The most striking feature is the reduplication of the stem. Usually, this is done by doubling the original consonant and inserting an epsilon between them. Okay? So, usually, or the basic mark of perfect is reduplication of the consonant, the original consonant, and inserting an epsilon between them. Thus, the reduplication of stem of luo is lilu, and the perfect active of luo is what? Is le. It's reduplication plus lu stem plus the tense identifier kappa or ka, then the ending. So we have now liluka. Okay, so the reduplication here, look at this one. Luo, the verb stem is lu, right? Because o is the present ending form. So lu is the stem. So reduplication, it's reduplicating the consonant. It's not the vowel, but the consonant. Our stem here, the consonant is lambda. Okay, it becomes double. It means reduplication means double. So that's why we have another lambda here before. And again, the rule says that you add epsilon in between. So that's why we have epsilon. Okay, so this is now the sign. So you will know that the word or the verb is in a perfect because the consonant of the verb stem is double, then with the epsilon in between. So that's why we have leluka. So look at here. It's, you call this lelu is a reduplication. Okay, you call this as reduplication. Then we have the tense identifier ka. Then we have now the form for perfect active first person singular is liloka. Okay, liloka. Another thing, there are other matters to notice when the verb stem is reduplicated. Okay, so what are the things that we have to take note? Number one, beginning with phi, theta, and ki are reduplicated with corresponding smoother consonants. Okay, example, you have Nesco, it means I die. Okay, Nesco is I die. So we have here consonants starts with what, or the verb stem starts with P, tau, and kappa. What will happen? What will happen? It says here that this verb stem, no, as verb stem that starts with phi, theta, and ki, the reduplication consonant is what? Becomes smoother, no? It becomes smooth. So look at here. Starts with theta. When theta is reduplicated, you have tau, no? Tau, it becomes what? Tau. Okay? If the verb stem starts with phi, then you have the starting is the reduplication is the P. Okay? So if it's ki, then the reduplication consonant is kappa. Okay, for example, here, Nesco. Okay, I die, it becomes Teitika. Okay, Teitika. We have reduplication here of theta. Okay, it's not theta here, but tau, because again, the rule is verbs beginning with phi, tau, and ki are reduplicated with corresponding smoother consonants. Okay. Another rule is verbs beginning with the vowel or diphthong lengthen to what? Vowel. Okay, lengthen the vowel to reduplicate. So we have here el piso. For example, here the word el piso, it's el pis. Okay. So from epsilon it becomes eta because it lengthens. And of course we have what? The tense identifier ka. Also here, tense identifier ka. So there are two, or actually there are, two things that you have to remember. Number one, the reduplication, and number two, the presence of the tense identifier, the kappa or ka. Okay? And verbs beginning with consonant or two consonants, the double consonant or a row often reduplicated by adding an epsilon. Okay? So we have here looks like an augment. Now, for example, ginusto, it's that's meaning I know, no? The stem is the no, okay? No. Two consonants, the stem starts with two consonants, so that's why It says here that when it is reduplicated, you add sigma. Now you add sigma, and of course you still have the tense identifier. Okay, so again, for the perfect reduplication and the tense identifier ka. Okay, so that's why we have here liluka, lilukas, liloke, lilokamen, lilukate, lilukase. Okay, kakaske kamen kati, kan, I have lost, you have lost, he, she, it has lost, we have lost, and you, they have lost. The middle and passive, they don't have tense identifier, but they have, what they have is only reduplication. No, lilomai, lilosai, lilotai, lilomita, liloste, lilontai. Okay, so I have lost, or I have lost, or myself, or I have been lost, you have been lost, he, she has been lost, we have been lost, no, you have been lost, and they have been lost. If it's in the passive, for middle, I have lost myself, you have lost yourself. Okay, so like that. So these are all the tenses, no, the tenses in the indicative form. So we have here um, the aorist, the future, and the perfect, and also we have the imperfect and the uh, uh, the present. Okay, so these are the things that you have to remember. Okay, question. You have questions? Let me give you an example. No, here we have examples here. Okay, this one. So we have igigraptai. So look at here, no? Igigraptai, double, we have here, reduplication of the gamma here, no? Reduplication of the gamma, then therefore this is what? Perfect. Though we don't have ka, yet there is a reduplication, then it is perfect. Then we have also gigraptai. We have reduplication of gamma. This one is from the word egero. This one is grapho, no? Grapho. Then we have pipischuka. Pipischuka. So we have reduplication, and we have the ka. Then we have here akikoamen. You have reduplication, no, of the kappa. We have here. This word is from the word akuo. I hear. Then we have ignokamen. So we have ka, and we have this one. Epsilon is a symbol of reduplication because we have two, or the verb stem, or two consonants side by side in the verb stem. Okay, so we have here. Then we have gigonate, we have piplerotai, we have akikoate, gigraptai, eniken. No? So, engiken, engiken. So these are examples of perfect. Okay, we have here. We will try to translate this one. Okay. A gar necroi ok egerontai o di Christos egegraptai. Okay. What is egerontai? Pars egerontai. Egerontai. Pars, this is what? Do we have tense identifier here? Can you see any tense identifier? Sigma, tes, ka?
Middle, sir. Middle.
Yes, wait.
Middle of
What is the tense here? What is the tense?
Passive, sir. Passive.
Huh?
Passive,
Middle.
dili.
No,
Unsa
no,
ba?
no, no. I'm asking of the tense. The tense, is it future, aorist, imperfect, present, perfect?
Ah,
Imperfect, sir.
Huh? Imperfect? Why do you say it is imperfect?
The augment. Because of the augment, sir.
Is it an augment? If this is an augment, then what is the lexical, the verb stem of this word, of this verb?
Ah, okay, sir. Okay, mali.
Oh,
Kwan,
so
sir. Present
this is
tense.
present. Very good, no? Present. Why? Because there's no augment, there's no tense identifier. Therefore, this is present. So this is from the word. What is the lexical form or lexical entry?
Ego.
Ah,
Og.
we have
Ego.
egero. Okay, egero. No, egero is I carry, I bring. No, I carry, I bring. Okay, and this is in the passive, third person, plural. No, third person plural. So for if the dead, what? If the dead are not what? Are not being raised. No, for if the dead are not being raised, then udi Christos ikigraptai. This is the tense is what?
Perfect.
Perfect. Very good. No, perfect. And also, what is uh the voice?
The voice. Sige, itong mga voice.
Kwan, sir. Middle.
Middle or passive?
Active voice, active voice.
Middle or
Middle
passive?
or passive, sir.
Okay. Then what is the lexical form?
Ege... Ege...
Still egero. No, egero. Still the same. This is imperfect. We have reduplication here. Reduplication. So the translation now. It says here, for if the dead are not, because this is present, are not being raised, then Ude, what is Ude? No, or neither.
Christ.
Then neither Christ,
Christ.
perfect. Then neither Christ and passive has been raised. Has been raised because this is passive. So, for if the dead are not being raised, this is the argument of Paul in First Corinthians. If the dead are not being raised, then therefore Christ has not
Christ.
been
Race.
raised. Okay.
Sir, sa
Nga na,
libog
no?
ko, sir.
Nga naman. Ang sabi galibgan mo?
Kung anong makaingon man ta nga, sir, nga kana siya perfect passive ng ang igiger, igi,
Ige, griptay. Ige,
yes, sir.
griptay. Nga no. Look at here. We have, how do you know that the verb is in perfect? Number one, reduplication of the consonant or the verb consonant. Now, number two is what? The tense identifier. Unfortunately, we don't have tense identifier here. Huh? We don't have tense identifier. If you look at the chart, we have the the reduplication here of the consonant. Okay, the gamma, no, gamma, and this word is from the word igero. Egero has only one gamma, but now we have two gammas here. So we can see that this word or the consonant or the verb stem consonant is reduplicated. That's why we have here another gamma. Okay? And you put epsilon in between. However, we have what? We have an eta here. No? Why? Because if you look at the what do you call this? The lexical form, it's egeron. We have also here, no? Egero. This is the present. So it lengthens, no? It lengthens. So that's why we have, again, we have reduplication of the consonant, of the verb consonant. And since we don't have a tense identifier here, then it is in the passive. So you have to remember, once the consonant is doubled, no, the verbal stem is doubled, then you can say that that verb is in perfect tense. Maura gina atong bantayan.
So yung kanang number 2 na sir nga below number 2 kanang naay word nga ignoskamen.
Okay,
Ano na siya sir? Perfect. Kay na may ka.
Naay ka. So nga na, correct. So naay sa ka. So perfect. What about this one?
Perfect active gyapon sir.
Perfect lang gyapon, no? Because even though we don't have tense identifier ka, but we have kappa is what? Reduplicated. Okay? So once gani nga ang verb stem na double gani ang verb stem, not the verb stem but the consonant, the first letter or the first consonant of the verb stem na double gani siya, it means we can say that that verb is in the perfect tense. Okay, kay na double. Okay? So we have here kikuamen, another example here. Gigonate, no? Gigonate, the gamma is what? Double. Reduplicated. So it's in the perfect. So mao gina atong bantayan. For example, ililuta. So here, ililuta. So the lambda is what? Reduplicated. So this is perfect. So mao ra gina. No? Mao na.
Then sir, perfect siya sir. Then saan na pud pang distinguish ang next kung passive or active kay kaganiya sa number 2 akiku
unsaon nimo pag
identify nga active or passive or middle.
Okay. The endings, look at the endings. We have amen. Amen, it's for active. Okay? Amen is for active. Amen is for active. So you look at the endings. No, this one. This is the ending here is alpha. So which among if you look at the chart, no, which of the two voices, the active and middle, which has the alpha ending? Active. Because for the passive imperfect, it's my, a, tay, mita, este, untay. See? So this is active because of the ending. So that's it. So that's how you what? Determine the tense identifier at the same time the endings. For the voice, you look at what? The tense identifier and the endings for the voice. However, there are some words, no? There are some words nga walay reduplication o walay kining endings and tense identifier, then you have to memorize. No? There are some words nga wala gyud. No? I think we have, let me show you. I don't know if nabay example nga akong nahatag. For example, oida. The word oida, the verb oida. It's perfect word, no? I mean, it's in the perfect tense, but meaning dili na mo makita, walay reduplication, walay tense identifier. Okay? So since oida is such a common verb in the New Testament, it is important to learn its form. The verb is based on the old stem ed and is a second perfect in its forms. However, oida has present meaning and is translated in this way in English. The future oida is idiso. Okay? So this one is I have given you the present, but the perfect of this is kining walay kuan, walay replication o walay ending, no? So that's why you have to familiar this one. Okay? So oida.
Kana ra
This
pud nga
is
word sir ang sa Greek ang ulay ano sir.
I'm not sure kung more ba nga word, no? Pero murag na apay uban, pero gamay ra kini sila. So this is an example, no? So oida ang pinaka-common, no? The word oida. So it means I know also, no? Meaning is I know. Oida is different from ginosko. Okay? The same word ginosko, the same meaning, I mean, what do you call this? Ginosko is I know. Oida is I know. However, naa sila'y different, no? Ginosko is used for relational knowledge or experiential knowledge. You experience, no, experiential knowledge. While oida is theoretical knowledge. For example, I know your name, no? I know, and you know my name. That's oida. But ginosko, it's when you know who I am, my character, my habits, everything in me because you are my friend. So that's ginosko. But just knowing your name, for example, I know our president. His name is Rodrigo Rua Duterte. So I know him. So the word know there is oida. But if you say I know him personally because he is my friend and I know all his attitude, his character, and I know his family, everything in him, then that's ginosko. Okay? So that's the difference between oida and ginosko. So do you have other questions? Yes?
Sir, clarify lang ako sir. So ang kinahanglan namo ani i-memorize sir kay katong chart nga mong gipakita sir o katong
Yes, kining chart.
kadaghan magud ang rules nga murag among timan-an sir. Naglibog na gyud ko noon mo nang wa na kay ko kasabot
Ay,
gyud.
katong mga rules bitaw katong mga verb stem, ayun lang to memorize sa. Ay to memorize sa. It's only those things are only in order for you to become aware of why some words ingani ang iyang form, no? Nganong nalahi man ang iyang form. Nga in fact mao man ang present. How come that when it is in the passive form or when it is in the active voice, why the form is like this, no? Those are only explanations, no? You don't have to memorize them. I'm asking you to memorize this one, only the tense identifier and the endings. Okay? Only those. So, morag yun na.
Katong augment pa sir, na pa man to di ba? O katong mga
of course, the aorist. For the aorist. The augment. Okay? Anyway, I will not ask you to write what is the form of this word, if it is in the future, or if it is in the perfect, or if it is in the imperfect. No, I will not ask you like that. Okay? If I ask you, then you should memorize all those things. Okay? But I won't be asking you that kind of question. So that's why you don't need to worry. Just memorize this one. Just memorize the tense identifier and the endings. Okay?
Okay, sir. Salamat kayo.
Mora na. Mora na ang iyong gikinahanglan. Okay? So thank you so
Time,
much.
sir.
Ano pa may laing question?
Dapat may time, sir. Pwede gamay pang practice, sir. Kaya mo think in pagi ko, sir, ba?
Practice a game. Another, no? Kini. Asa tani? Kini. Tatik na to tio gigonate. Okay? Gigonate. So, tatik na gigonate. So, look at here. Tatik na, it's what? It's either, what is the case?
Sa chart,
What is the
sir?
case?
Sa chart?
Tatik na.
Ano, sir? Perfect active?
Perfect.
Perfect middle and passive?
No, this one. Tatik na. Tatik na is, tekna is noun. This is noun, right? So, what is the case? This is either nominative or accusative, right?
Wala man ko kabantay og na, sir. Man,
You have the definite article. Now we're talking here of tekna. Tekna is in what? Tekna is a noun. So do not use the verb. No, you do not use the pattern for the verb because we are what? Conjugating. No, conjugate tekna. And conjugate, but decline tekna. Declension is for noun while conjugation is for verb. Okay, decline tekna. So what is the case of tekna here? It is nominative or accusative. Tekna. Okay, plural. Look at here because of the definite article ta. Ta is the plural, the definite article for the plural in the neuter gender, no? In the neuter, both in the nominative and accusative. So, what is the translation now for this? Tekna is from the word teknon, child. So, what is the plural for?
Children.
Children.
Children, okay? So, translate this one. The children
Of
God.
The children.
Okay, the children of God. Now, we have here the verb. Okay? The verb
Perfect.
here.
perfect.
This is perfect.
Perfect.
Remember, we have perfect reduplication, no? Reduplication of the verb stem. A consonant verb stem. So, reduplication, it's perfect. And what is the voice? For perfect, there are only two voices, active or passive, or middle.
middle and passive, sir.
Look at the ending. What is the ending?
After middle.
Do we have ending ate for the middle in perfect?
Sir, active plural day, active plural. Second person.
Okay, active plural, no? This is active. Now, the next question is,
Oh, yes.
what is the person?
Third person, sir. Third
Ah?
person.
Third person?
Second.
Second person,
plural.
because ate, ka, kaske, kamen, kati. So kati is second person, ati kan. Okay, second person. So in active, so what would be the translation here? Since we have this one, we have the children of God, and tekna, it's either nominative or accusative. But in this case, this is what? This is accusative. Why? Because here, this is second person. Okay? The verb is in the second person. Therefore, this cannot be a nominative. Okay? Because if this is in nominative and this is second person active, then they are in conflict. It should be, if this is nominative, then this must be what? First person, plural. However, this is second person, then this one is not nominative, but it is accusative. Okay, that's how you analyze. Okay, so this is perfect, second person plural, and the lexical form. What is the lexical form? From the word genomai. What is genomai? Genomai is become, or I am, or become. So it says here that you, since this is perfect, you have become, because this is active, you have become the children of God. Simple.
Sir, sa first and second declension, sir ba, sa noun, wala
Ah.
ko kabantay word ending nga naon man to sa, ako na, on, ug aara man to, sir, sa nominative ug accusative.
On, that's for the neuter singular. But for the plural is or ta. Look at, you go back to the definite article. Okay? Definite article for the singular is ton. Ton, both in the nominative and accusative, that's for singular. But for the plural is ta. Both
Sir,
in
wait lang, pwede dahan-dahan lang, sir, kaya akong isulat, sir. Sa to, sir, ang ang definite article sa...
Ako, ipakita ninyo na lang.
Sige, sir, sige, sir.
Para first and second declension.
Okay, sir, okay, sir.
Okay. So, Nara, kining the different article, no? So look at here. So to, no? For the neuter, ta is for neuter plural. Okay? So we have here ta. Definite article for the noun is one. Okay? For the noun it's what? On, no? For the neuter it's nominative and accusative singular on. But for the plural is a. So that's why ini mo na siya ta. So plural. Plural. So,
kay plural, sir, tungod kay aman ang last, sir, no? Dili man.
Look at the definite article, no? The definite article, this is ta and this is ta. So mo na ang plural siya. Okay? Okay. So another example. Kini. Ito taglay example ani, no? Kini ato ko na i-try nag-answer, no? Kini. Aki ko amen ten aliteyan kay igno kamen hoti aputi o is 10. Okay? Aki ko amen is, we have to, what is the tense of aki ko amen?
Plural, sir, plural, first person.
Tense daan, tense.
Say tense gani, sir? Imperfect tense.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. No?
Perfect.
The implication. What is the
Perfect.
voice?
Act.
Saan voice?
Active, sir.
Ha?
First person.
Passive. Passive.
Active.
Passive, active. Look
Active.
at the endings.
Active, sir. Active.
Active. No, active. Okay.
First person. Plural.
So from the word, unsa may lexical form ani? From the word
Kikuemen.
Amen.
akuo. What is akuo? The lexical form is akuo. What is the meaning of akuo? Meaning?
I hear, sir. I hear.
No, so I hear. Okay.
I
Kay
heard.
perfect man siya active. So what would be the translation here? Oh, by the way, what is the person?
Person,
Sir.
person, singular.
Ah?
Oh,
Third
first person.
Plural.
first person plural.
First person.
Plural.
So kung first person plural siya, unsa man nato ni pag-translate karon? Unsa nga pronoun atong gamiton? What pronoun atong gamiton? Plural, first person.
We.
We. Okay, very good. Since
We.
we, then kung ato na ning i-translate karon unsa man kay ang ang meaning ani is I hear man, no? Sa lexical form it's I hear. So unsa na to pag-translate karon ani?
We have.
No, perfect. We
Hear.
no perfect.
We have.
We have
Heard.
Heard.
Here.
here.
We have
heard.
heard.
Have heard.
We have heard. What is ten alitian? Vocabulary.
Of.
Voice.
Another, sir.
No.
Another.
The word alitian, it's not alilon. It's different. But alitian, it's from the word alitia.
Truth.
What is alitia?
Truth.
Truth. Okay. Truth. And look at here. Singular, plural.
Singular.
Singular. So, translate now. This phrase lang. Okay? This one.
We have heard.
Okay.
We have heard the truth.
Heard
The truth.
truth. Okay? We have heard the truth. And this one. What about ignokamen?
Sir, wait lang, sir.
Tense.
Ano nga ang Alitea, sir? Alitean, singular man siya, sir. Asa makita ganis?
Oh, mata no sa endings, no sa ending is and the definite article. What is the definite article? It's a singular accusative, no? Accusative. Atong tanawon ang kuan definite article, no? Nara. Oh, mo na ang definite article, no? So we have tain. Okay? Tain and we have tain here.
Okay.
Definite article. Mo na ini siya it's accusative, no? Singular. Now, ignokamen. What is ignokamen?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Paano mabalaan ang initiative, sir?
Initiative. Unsa initiative? Sa?
Kani, sir, kani number 2, sir.
Oh, akini mahibaw-an ang unsa mahibaw-an ang
Katong imong kung ikuan karon, sir. Hinay mo ito ng tingog ko, sir.
Ngano accusative siya? Ang case. Ato naman na-discuss last time, no? So, ngano ang malik buta ni sa kwan, no? Sa noun. So, i-familiarize kinyo, memorize ninyo ang form, no? Ang form sa definite article o sa nouns, okay? So here, nganong accusative siya? Tanawon ni mo dire, di ba? Mao man ang definite article. Mao ni ang definite article sa masculine, neuter, and feminine, and singular and plural. So mao ni ang mga definite article. So inyo gina-memorize on, no? So mo man ni siya kini tain, kini.
Oo.
Definite article mao man ni siya So it means na kini na the definite article it's for feminine accusative case singular, no? So mo gini siya ang definite article sa feminine sa accusative feminine singular. Okay? So feminine singular.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Katong
Ignokamen,
Okay, sir. Okay, okay. Salamat.
ato sa nitimason eh. Kay hapit ang time, no? Ato sa nitimason, kadali. Okay? So we have ignokamen. The tense is what? Okay, we have the perfect because we have the tense identifier, and we have also this one, the epsilon is the mid condition because the verb stem is what? The nos or the no. Okay? So we have here perfect. What is the voice? Active, indicative, first person,
Plural.
plural. Not the same, no? Akiko amen, amen. So plural. So from the word ginusto, meaning I know. So kay perfect man siya, active. So what would be our translation? Since plural, first person, so we use the pronoun we. Okay? We have known. Okay? We have known that. Okay, hote is that conjunction. And we have apo, to is ten. Is ten is what?
Is.
What? It's a verb, no? It's a verb to be. He is or she is or it is. Okay? So, in the context, this is he is. So, we have known that he is. Apo is a preposition from to is God. Okay, so our translation now is what? We have heard the truth and we have known.
That
Okay,
from
we have known that
from God.
he is from God.
God.
Okay, he is from God. So, muna itong
asa man ang
translation.
asa man dia dapit ang sa he is, sir? Is 10?
Okay, kini is 10. Remember, is 10 is a verb to be, no? Meaning, he is, she is, it is. Okay?
Maura
Verb
na
to
nga
be.
word, sir? Maura na
Yes.
nga word ang verb to be?
Remember, ang verb, it carries a pronoun. Diba ang verb? That's why we have first person, third person, second person, third person. Okay? Both in the singular and plural. Naagi na siya embedded nga pronoun. You use the pronoun of the verb when there is no or explicit subject. In this case, in our second phrase, this is the first phrase. The second is what? Since this is a conjunction, then in this phrase, we don't have explicit subject here. Wala may nominative case diri nga noun. No? Kaya wala man siya noun, explicit noun in the nominative case, then we have to use the implied what? The implied subject of the verb. Kaya ang verb naman sa implied subject. That's why we have the first person, second person, and third person. Kung ato ni bantayan, kung naaga na explicit subject sa sentence, then dili nato gamiton ang implied subject sa verb. Okay? Pero kung walay explicit subject sa sentence, that's the time that we have to use the implied subject of the verb.
Sir, what do you mean by explicit, sir?
Implicit ka ng wala yun ng implicit ay explicit, it means gistate yun ba nga naag yun. Now, for example, this one, let me give you an example. This one, this here. Okay. Who isos ipin? Ipin is a verb. Okay? Ipin is aorist verb, second aorist. Who isos is what? Who isos is in the nominative, the subject. So when we say explicit, it means gistate yun diha nga naay subject. Remember, ang ipin, naa siya subject pod na carry. Unsa may carry nga subject ani? Third person. Third person singular. He. Okay? He. So in your translation, dili naman mag-translate nga Jesus, he said. Nga naman, kay naa na may explicit subject Jesus, it means nga kining verb is directly related sa subject. Okay? So dili na nimo gamiton ang he nga implied subject diri sa verb. Kay kada verb naa gina sa subject. Pero dili nimo gamiton ang subject sa verb diri sa iyang kaugalingon nga built-in nga subject kay naa naman kay explicit subject. When we say explicit, tin-aw ba nga gibutang gyud diha nga naa, klaro gyud. Explicit, it's outside sa verb na ay subject. Pero kung wala unta, kung wala pa lang ni ang who is diri, then that's the time you use the implied subject of the verb he. Okay, for example, wala ning who is diri. So your translation is he said, no? He said to them. Okay? Pero kanaman si na may word nga Jesus diri, nominative case, so dili na nimo gamiton ang he. So kung ato ning i-translate, gani? Okay, ang translation ani and answering Jesus, he said to them. Okay? Or and Jesus answered and said to them. Okay?
So
Mo na
pwede
siya.
na rin na makabali ang kaning ano sa English na sir, ang depende na lang sa mua kung saan mo pag-arrange.
It should be translated in smooth, no? Ang iyong translation, it should be in smooth translation. Okay? Smooth is you have to what? You have to translate it based on the English grammar. Ang uban ng God sa inyong na nag-submit sa inyo aba, nga gi word for word, ego, tapos kini nya wala na gi-arrange kung unsa ra diha ang pagkasulat diha sa Greek, maura po gi-answer. Wrong na siya nga naman. That's a word for word translation, and it is, if you base it in English grammar, it's wrong. Then your translation is wrong. Although gihatag ninyo it's word for word translation, but translation should be based on English grammar rule, no? Because we are adapting in our translation, we are adapting the English grammar rule. Okay? Nga na siya. So you have to
Kanang word na tauto sir, tautaon sa may pasabutan na gani sir, nalimot man ko eh.
asani.
Kanang word nga tauto tauta kay katong kadumdum ko sa among create asa to nga create gani sir, create
Oh.
form man siguro.
Tauta. Okay. From the word what? Hutoy, no? Hutoy. It's demonstrative pronoun. Balik ta sa demonstrative pronoun. Let me ako ipakita ninyo, no? Aron ma-refresh ang atong understanding about kailan ha? Ako ipakita ninyo. Okay, no? Moni. Okay. Demonstrative pronoun, nara. Okay, muna siya. Okay? So demonstrative pronoun, near demonstrative and far demonstrative. So we have near demonstrative, no? So hotos, okay, singular. Hotos, hoto, tuto, tuton for the neuter, no? Tuto, 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 tuto. So muna, then the plural. Nara, for plural. Tauta, tauta, hauta. So, mo ni siya. Okay? So, inyo ginang i-familiarize, no? Inyo ginang i-familiarize ni sila. Okay, importante gini sila sa translation. Okay? Oh, wala naman tayo
This
time.
this day na sir no, this
this.
ang hotoys.
Oh.
This that okay.
Unya naabot tayo uses sa one po, no? Sa demonstrative. Ang uban ninyo, inyong gi-answer, these are the good prophets. No, that's wrong. No? That's wrong. Why? Because here, ang rule sa demonstrative is what? For example, hotos hu anthropos does not mean this is the person. Unsa may translation unta diay? This person, no? Translation is this person. Likewise, ho anthropos hutos means this person. Okay? So look at the function of the demonstrative. Okay? The demonstrative pronoun. So you have to take note of this. Okay? So, napay question, wala magitay time. So, bunatag time, no? So, let's continue our discussion next meeting, no?
Okay, sir.
Our,
Mag-record sa mga sir.
ha?
Mga record sa mga sir.
Wala problema.
Sir.
Ako na isin balik ang record. Okay, isin.
Mga may record sir.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Kaya minaw may.
Okay, so thank you so much, no?
Sakto na to, yapo na
So,
to,
before
yampo.
we go, let's pray first. Shall we ask,
Sir.
kinsa may, ako sa ni off done. Hold on, ha? Stop recording.